glory. Visez haut.
U-Sports on CBC, presented by les championnats U-Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Theraburn Medical Supplies, Les Bag Baron Rings, BioSteel, Wilson, APAR, and by Indochino.
Welcome back inside War Memorial Gym. It's the 2025 Indochino U-Sports Basketball Final 8 presented by Victory Creative Group. I'm Andrew Savory alongside Kira Lyons. We already had a great game earlier. Kira, we were watching that thriller between Carleton and Bishops. Bishops just couldn't keep up with the Ravens, but earlier today we saw a win in overtime for the Ottawa GGs. We got another action, the 4 and the 5 seeds, St. Mary's and UBC. But tonight when we look at the bracket, it's the Titans of Canada West, Saskatchewan versus the 8 seed Alberta.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. It's not necessarily one that you want in that first game of the tournament, but just because you're so familiar and it's nice to play somebody else. But I also think it's I love watching these two teams play each other. They're so familiar with one another, and it's such a great opening game for the both of them. You know, it's something that they both really need to lock in because they are so familiar with one another. They've played each other so much that they know it's going to be a battle on both sides.
And with these teams, we'll be heading into a commercial break shortly, but the players to watch, the away team coming in, Alberta, very familiar with this building. Who do you got?
Claire Signatovich, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of great talent on this team, but I mean, I went to go write down all of her awards and everything, and it literally, the list got too long. So she's very well known. She's a massive part of this team, Defensive Player of the Year most recently, and just her on the floor changes the game. It changes how you attack the rim, and just her veteran confidence. You know, she's a glue. I don't want to say she's the glue piece because there's a lot of that on this Panda squad, but she does so much for them that she's definitely one to keep an eye on.
And quickly for the Huskies.
Player of the Year, NANCOP Player of the Year, Gage Grassick, of course. Same thing, her resume is unbelievably long, and a huge piece to this Husky team. Like, you're going to see her effect on all areas of the floor, and she's really fun to watch too. So she's my other pick.
Couldn't agree more. On the flip side, we're going to have the starters, land acknowledgement, and our officials. Don't go anywhere. It's U Sports on CBC. Nice.
Feel every hit, point, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline. Our passionate team unlocks a world of possibilities with digital broadcasting made simple, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. Proudly Canadian, ISI Live, be there.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
Basketball fans, let's get going. Meet the starters for the visiting Alberta Pandas. First to the floor from Edmonton, Alberta, number 0, Anansi Palmer. From Calgary, Alberta, number 3, Reese Hall. From Edmonton, Alberta, number 9, Morgan Harris. From Winnipeg, Manitoba, number 13, Claire Signatovich. And from Calgary, Alberta, number 16, James Tanner. Tanner's led by head coach Scott Edwards. Coach Edwards is assisted by Megan Wickstrom. They're assisted by Lauren Matson and Brooklyn Legault. Now, let's meet the starters for the home Saskatchewan Huskies. First to the floor from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, number 0, Logan Reeder. From Hinton, Alberta, number 4, Tia DeMall. From Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, number 5, Dave Grassick. From Bolton, Ontario, number 7, Andrea Doty. And from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, number 15, Courtney Primo. Huskies are led by head coach Lisa Tobias. The officials for today's game.
We're moments away from tip-off here at War Memorial Gym. Andrew Savory alongside Kira Lyons. It's the 1 seed Saskatchewan versus the 8 seed Alberta. Both teams in the final 8 last year. Alberta was bounced in the first round by Laval. Saskatchewan losing 70-67 in a nail-biter against the eventual 2-time champions Carleton Ravens. Huskies, revenge on their mind. Alberta, upset on their mind. Signatovich wins the tip. Tanner over to Hall. Working in the corner on Primo. Tanner, 3-point tally, not going to go. National Player of the Year, your player to watch, Kira Gage Grassick, quickly up the floor as Dodig can't get it to drop. Jump ball, going to stay with the Huskies.
Speaking of players to watch, like I know like her numbers might not be something that stand out a ton, but Dodig is so important to this Huskies team. She's one of my favorites to watch. The amount of tie-ups that she creates, her rebounding, and just the sheer amount of minutes that she plays for them, like she's so important, and definitely another one to keep an eye on.
Could have also have called out Tia DeMong, someone who's just that blue-collar mentality, next player up. Saskatchewan, you always get the sense players aren't looking for baskets. It's just the best shot available.
Definitely. They play such smart, nice basketball, looking for the best shot, not settling.
Grassick missing that open 3, and here's Morgan Harris. So calm with the ball in her hands, the leading playmaker on this team. That went out of bounds, turnover committed through the hands of Tanner. Here's Grassick coming out of Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, into the lane. Takes contact from Signatovich. Great defense. Claire Signatovich, multi-time Canada West Defensive Player of the Year. Here's Tanner from deep. Not going to go. Ball's going to stay. Nope, it's going to go back to the Huskies.
Good hustle there by Harris, trying to track that one down.
Quickly into Dodig. Helping out secondary ball handler. Harris trying to keep her in front. Dodig kicked out. Logan Reeder, huge season for Logan Reeder. Bumping up her scoring average as Primo tips it for a second and hits the deck. That's going to be a jump ball going back to the Huskies. Oh, it's going to be the Pandas, excuse me, but Primo have to applaud hitting the deck early in this game.
I think that's one thing that always sticks out to me so much is the best. I mean, we just watched Carleton. We did that game. We're watching, two of the best teams in the country here too. Those 50-50 balls and coming up with anything that's been tipped is such a massive part of being successful and getting those extra possessions and just having the compete level to hit the floor that early, right? Like it's 2-0 with a minute in or a minute and a half in. And they're hitting the deck because they understand the importance of every single possession when you're playing against teams of this caliber.
When it turns into a one-possession game at the end of the fourth quarter, each possession is so crucial. It's just going to add up. It's a game of inches. Recently checking in Riley Semenik. Grasic over to DeMong.
Oh.
That one spills out point blank. Grasic lets it fly from deep. She's 1 for 2 from the land beyond. Gage Grasic, not who you want to leave open with time and space. Palmer into Hall, kept alive. Semenik swing pass. Harris 5 to work. Little push shot, floater doesn't go for Harris. Reese Hall, not necessarily the foul you'd like to see her take. Stops the Huskies, they're going to inbound.
Yeah, I think a big thing for the Pandas tonight, and on both sides for the Huskies too, is because they're so familiar, and the Huskies have had a lot of success against them over the last couple of seasons, and this semester, their first couple of games. Huskies need to dig in early and try and take control, and the Pandas need to battle a lot early. They can't get down. This 5-point spread, they can't allow this to bleed out anymore. They need to do something to stop it. So that they continue to make it a game. It's such a mentality to be able to win these games as well, and that can be tough to do when you've played someone for that many times over the last couple of years.
Violation called there against Grasic. Good defense from the Pandas. Pandas making it into the Final 8, beating UFB for bronze in Canada West Championships. DeMong takes that one right away. Great defender. Taya DeMong. Grasic over to Reeder. Head fake. Foul on the drive going to be called against Palmer. That's 3 fouls in less than 3 minutes called against the Pandas. Have to be careful here. Palmer still talking about it. She doesn't agree. We were talking about Palmer pregame, coming over, some big seasons of basketball for her.
Yeah, she's another one you have to keep your eye on. If you give her any sort of time and space, she's a fantastic scorer. Her three-point percentage is just insane. I think we were talking, it's got to be near the top of the country, and she's very smooth. And
Grasic, land beyond.
Yeah, she'll shoot that.
I was going to say, we were commending the three-point shooting of Palmer, and all of a sudden Grasic letting it fly from the logo. But you know what? Limitless range in the arsenal for the National Player of the Year. 5-0 start for the Huskies, about 3 minutes into this one.
The ultimate green light.
Here's Harris.
Oh, what a play.
Grasic, hand in the cookie jar, throws it out of the outstretched arm of Maya Flindle. Recently checked into this one. Just a clean steal. You talk about the offense from Grasic, but able to D up and just rip it away without committing the foul. Those are the skills we should be teaching the next generation.
You can try. You can try.
If only it was so easy.
Yeah. Like the way that she towed the line there as Morgan was dribbling beside her, you know, being physical but not fouling, and then being able to rip that from the back, like that was just a very veteran, like smart play.
Easton Ahediahanma. Right to the rim, doesn't drop. Rebound. Trying to throw that one back up was Tanner. Looking for the foul call. She can't believe it. Pandas can't buy a whistle, she says. I didn't just throw that out of bounds. I took contact.
Yeah, I like the no call, honestly. There's some contact, but
Some verticality straight up. Grasic on the kick. DeMong ran off the line, and she says, I'm going to go bank. It's open late here on a Thursday as Taya DeMong gets that to go for 2. Trying to drive her way to the rim. At least too good. Out of bounds, last touch by the Huskies. 7-0 start for the Huskies. 0 for 4 from the field are the Pandas. 7 turnovers already committed by the Pandas. A little bit sloppy for the Huskies as well, committing 4.
we talked a little bit about that in the earlier game, but the first game of the tournament, as familiar as it is, it can be that way. It can be sloppy. The shooting percentages can be low. As much experience as these teams have in this Final 8 tournament, that first one gives you the jitters a little bit. You know, it's a big game. You've worked your whole season. And so no matter, you know, who you end up facing, you can have those first quarter jitters, and it takes a little bit of time to settle in. It's just what damage is done while you deal with those jitters is kind of, you know, where you end up.
Head coach Scott Edwards wants to talk it over. It's a 9-0 hole. We'll see you on the other side of a commercial break. It's U Sports on CBC.
Delaney, territoire du Nord-Ouest. Le berceau du hockey. On y trouve une communauté riche en histoire et en tradition que Quaker voulait surprendre avec une toute nouvelle cantine déjeuner Quaker dans son aréna. En plus d'offrir notre avoine canadienne à grains entiers, la cantine est maintenant l'endroit pour se rassembler, manger et célébrer. Nous sommes fiers d'alimenter la passion du hockey dans son village d'origine, parce que peu importe d'où tu viens, t'es capable.
Le sport en direct sur ICTou.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ICTou.tv.
See the live stats?
Yeah, for sure.
Or you could just message me the. Thank you.
Back inside War Memorial Gym, it's the 2025 Indochino U Sports Basketball Final 8 presented by Victory Creative Group. And if you're the Pandas, you're just searching for some sort of offense right now. Everyone's being held off the scoreboard, and the Huskies running a little bit of a half-court press, a soft one at that. Morgan Harris in her 4th year, Claire Signatovich in her 5th. They're going to have to reach into their bag of magic tricks because when the Huskies get up big, it's tough to keep pace. Harris wide open for 3. Doesn't go. Grasic the rebound. Head of steam up the floor to Flindle. She's in deep. Harris, a little bit of contact. Flindle absorbs it, gets it to go.
That was an athletic play.
Flindle, one of those Swiss Army knife players. Signatovich gets that one to go, absorbing some contact. That's a tough catch. Claire Signatovich deep in the post.
Yeah, Maya coming off a very impressive performance in that Can West final as well. I think she had 13 points, super strong defensive game, like had some really big plays. So, you know, she's coming into this off a high for sure.
I look at players like Flindle and Kia Easton Ihediohanma as those crucial players who are going to come in off a bench, can give you a little bit of offense. You know their defense is going to be strong. And talking about patience, what do you say, Maya Flindle? 4 points here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Speak of the devil, he is subbing in. She's another one I love to watch. Oh, nice play. Very nice play.
Thing of beauty.
She's dealt with some injury things, and so she hasn't been able to get into, you know, a huge flow or rhythm, but she's healthy right now, and she's so smooth and athletic. She's dangerous defensively. Like, she puts on really good ball pressure. She's long. She reads the pass and plays the lanes quite well. And then like offensively, like, she can get really hot and she can have some really tough finishes. So she's really fun to watch. And with her healthy and playing well, I think she adds a lot to this Panda squad.
The Pandas, they're gonna need to fire on all cylinders to keep pace with the national reigning runners-up and of course the Canada West champions, Saskatchewan Huskies. Here's Easton Ihedeo Hanma. That one doesn't go from deep.
Oh.
Big steps up all the way. Ella Murphy-Wiebe got that board and just said, you know what, I'm going to run 94 feet and draw a foul.
Every time we bring up a player, I'm like, oh, they're so fun to watch too, and this is why. And she's another one. She's great to watch. She's so active. She works incredibly hard. I remember watching her at the Nationals last year, and she ended up getting switched on to small little guards and was able to contain them and contest shots. She's really important for this Husky team too. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over, but that's how I feel about both these teams.
Well, it's a pleasure for us to have the opportunity to watch some prime athletes, some of the best in the country, go at it as Ella Murphy-Wiebe hits the first of 2 free throws. And right now we're talking about a 6'1" post, capable of grabbing a board and going the full length, getting the foul, and hitting her 2 free throws.
Yeah. She can get, like, I watched her get switched on to Carleton's point guard last year and scare her and keep her out of the paint and do a really good job defensively. And to be able to be that mobile and that active on guards, and then also be an undersized defender often too. You watch her guard the UBC posts when they played in the Can West final, and just, she's undersized, but she's so active and she works so hard that she's able to make up for it, and it makes her incredibly valuable.
Foul charge against the Huskies. Logan Reeder with the rock. Here's Murphy-Wiebe. It's going to be a travel called against Murphy-Wiebe. Signatovic, I wouldn't want to try and turn the corner on her either. Murphy-Wiebe commits the turnover.
Well, and even if you turn the corner on her, you know that she's going to be there when you get to the rim too.
Exactly, have to have eyes in the back of your head when she's trailing. Here's Palmer. Signatovic in deep. Murphy-Wiebe rotating over. Good defense on the switch.
Yeah, Pandas are having a little bit of issues with their flow right now. They're getting in each other's way. Lanes aren't as open as they look. Just got to get on the same page.
Easton Ihedeo Hanma. That's going to be a foul charge against Reeder. A little bit shaken up, but a tough customer in Easton Ihedeo Hanma. She'll be okay. First foul committed in a very clean first quarter for Saskatchewan. And Imelda recently checking into this game. Sarah Cleve for the Huskies.
Oh.
Deep post position. Easton Ihedeo Hanma. They're going to need a lot more of that. That's 2 quick fouls. Charge to Logan Reeder. If you can get her to go to the bench. Looks like Maya Flindle's going to check back in for Logan Reeder. If I was a gambling man, likely the case. Indeed it is. Logan Reeder, that's about 14 points per game, sitting back down here in the first quarter. First one drops for Kia. Two for two. Pandas stuck 9. I think the key for this first half, can they keep it within single digits? Huskies, like we said, when they run away with it, when they smell blood, it's hard to get back in it. Grasic, a little bit of time and space. Can't get the roll. Cleve gets the board. Flindle. Shake, shimmy. That one spills out. Palmer with the board. Signatovic on the catch. Easton Ihedeo Hanma, they need this one. Can't go. Here's Grasic. 6 assists per game, Gage Grasic. Melda. Blew a bit of a tire there. Looks like she's okay. That one spills out for the Huskies. Semenik. Around the screen. Rotating over, a bit of a hip check there from Claire Signatovic, trying to create some space for Semenik. Screen offensive foul charged to the Pandas. DeMong checking back in for the Huskies, as is Courtney Primo. Flindle, wide open. Hitting the deck, spills out for Palmer. Seeker reach is going to be charged to Klebe. Good activity fighting for that board. Third foul committed by the Huskies here in the first. Semenik, the Kelowna product. Tanner. Tanner looking for some space. Scoop shot doesn't go. Here's Flindle. Over to Klebe. DeMong. So good at using your body. Look at that body control. Taya DeMong turning that corner, getting to the rim. Her second and one opportunity of the game.
So strong. And like the positioning here, right back into her. Oh, and Annecy ate that one. Oh, that didn't feel good.
Yeah, that one's going to leave a bit of a stinger. Tia DeMong. She seems to score in bunches. It's when her team gets in a little bit of a lull. She gets the rock at the right time, converts the and one. She's opportunistic, never looking for her own shot, but just quietly always contributing.
Yeah, and defensively, like, I think she had like 10 steals or something in the Can West final last year. Like, she just reads the play so well. She's efficient that way. Her angles and her awareness is really good.
Harris putting up the floater. Primo with the board, swallows that one up. That one looks like it should be out of bounds on Primo as she was falling. Indeed it is. Ball is going to go to the Pandas. Down 12 with 1:09 left here in this opening frame. Corner strike doesn't drop for the Pandas out of the hands of Ella Reese. In her second year as science major. Grasick was looking for the backdoor cut. A rare turnover committed by the Huskies.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the miscommunication was there. Because she was already, she wasn't, DeMong was cutting. Grasick didn't think she was going to back cut. That's what it was.
DeMong a little bit deeper than where the pass was. Here's Harris. Signatovic on Primo. Spin move.
Wow, good
tough
defense.
look. Great D from Primo.
So strong.
Flindle, the hook shot doesn't go. Signatovic swallows that one. Here she is, running the floor. Big galloping steps, and who else but Taya DeMong standing her ground. We're playing basketball, we're playing rugby. Two players on that ball. Taya DeMong, a fearless competitor.
It's such a skill to be able to tie up, especially an attacker going to the rim, and I feel like that's something the Huskies do really well. And Dodig just came in. She's somebody that's really good at that, and so is DeMong. Anytime you bring that ball down or give an opportunity, they two hands, they're in there grabbing at it and forcing that jump ball.
Reese. An adept three-point shooter, dribbling a little bit. Grasick says, hey, I thought I tipped that off her. All smiles, Gage Grasick. Upbeat as always. Here's Signatovic. Escaping DeMong for now. Deep 2, Klebe gobbles that one up. Pandas applying the pressure. Ella Reese leaning in with the body. That's going to lead to some free throws on the other end. In a bonus situation, just shy of 6 seconds left in this first quarter.
Yeah, Panda's having a hard time. I mean, obviously, offensively, they don't have a whole lot of rhythm, and it seems like they're forcing things. They're trying to attack lanes that aren't there. It's too crowded in areas that they're trying to get to the rim, and they can't. So then they're taking, off balance or contested or both shots, and then they don't really have a rebounding presence either. They're smothering the rebounder, like the defensive rebounder once she gets it, but they're not coming up with many offensive rebounds themselves. And if you're not going to shoot the ball very well, you need to try and find ways to get yourselves other looks.
Dodig hits a pair of free throws. In the late quarter, prayer from Signatovic can't drop. It's 20-6, up 14, the Huskies over the Pandas. You're watching Indochino U Sports Basketball, Final 8, presented by Victory Creative Group. It's U Sports on CBC.
We are athletes.
Do you know what Husky athletes are made of?
Determination.
Hustle. Resilience. We're part of a team and a community.
We work hard for every goal.
And every grade.
Do you know what Husky athletes become?
Pharmacists.
Teachers.
Professionals.
Olympians.
When you invest in student athletes, you invest in the future. When you elevate her, you elevate the game. Watch women win.
Everyone watches Husky women's sports.
See her, be her.
Welcome back inside War Memorial Gym. Andrew Savory on the call alongside Kira Lyons. It was a tough shooting display from Alberta in the first quarter. As we check out first quarter statistics brought to you by Wilson, makers of the official U Sports Basketball. 2 of 17 from the field, 0 for 9 from deep. Just one trip to the free throw line for the Pandas. Kira, what stats stood out to you in that first frame?
Well, to go along with the 2 of 17, Pandas only have 1 offensive rebound, right? So a bit of an off shooting night. I think the decision making isn't, I mean, we talked about that first game sort of jitters, and I think that first quarter, just let that one go. I don't think that they're displaying who they are right now. The decision making, the shots that they're getting and attempting aren't very good, but then they're also not giving themselves any sort of second chance. So they need to get to the glass, whether they're making shots or not. They need to have somebody crashing, you know, give them another possession. Oh, nice pass. So that one stuck out the most to me. And then bench points, you know, the bench points for Saskatchewan, it's 8-2, so they're coming in and you know, putting up some numbers for the Huskies, and I mean, nobody's really putting up points for the Pandas right now, so it's, you know, a bit of discrepancy there too.
Lid on the basket right now for the Pandas. Tough to get one to fall. Two-point extension. Olivia Harm doing some damage here. She had a nice dump pass to Primo, and now Olivia Harm hitting that free throw jumper. Tanner, spin move on the way to the rim. Second trip to the free throw line for the Pandas, slowing things down a little bit. Trying to break the fluidity of these Huskies. Tanner hits the first of two. So the Huskies are orchestrating and firing all cylinders. Pandas maybe try to slow the game down a little bit, get into your offense. Tanner hits both.
Well, and I can't decide why their offense, like why there isn't that flow to it, and I think it's a very similar sort of feel to the game that we did earlier, where everybody needs to catch the ball and be a threat. Everyone needs to look at the rim when they catch it, so that you can't just defend them as passers. You know, you need to be a threat at all times, and then other things open up for you, and they become more clear, and you have more space, and the game comes to you a bit more too. You're not forcing as much. And I think that right now that's kind of what it feels like for the Pandas, is that they don't have very many that actually want to look to attack, but the ones that do feel like they have to force it because there's not a whole lot of flow to the offense, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword that way.
Speaking of flow, Courtney Primo and Olivia Harm doing a lot of damage right now, getting deep post position as Ella Reese, nice spin move. Fouls on back-to-back possessions as the Pandas try to find their way into the paint. Haven't been able to hit from deep. Neither of the Huskies really, just 1 of 7.
Well, and this is such a great way for them to get back into it. You know, they're not shooting the ball well. Okay, well, attack the rim, get to the line, and watch the ball go through the hoop, right? So back-to-back possessions, they're being rewarded for being aggressive. Now hit these, watch it go through, and then hopefully that translates into their field goal percentage.
Down 18 right now, perfect. 5 of 5 from the stripe.
That's something that you have to be cognizant as the Huskies too. You can't continue to put them on the line. And I mean, there's 8.5 to go and you got 2 fouls already. You don't want to be in bonus with 5-6 minutes, because then that interrupts the flow and the rhythm of your offense and your defense, and what you're capable of doing, and also like your subbing and how you're able to get girls into the game. So something that they need to be aware of.
Signatovic disrupting that inbounds from the Huskies. Possession arrow favors the Pandas. Extra possession coming here. Easton Ihedio Hanma checking back in. Harris thought about it. Palmer. Spin move. Taking some contact from Dodig and Primo on the rotation, but clean defense from the Huskies. It will prevent Palmer from getting to the rim.
Yeah, and they do that really well. They've been pinching in on the right players, being able to step into lanes and just cause disruption there.
Not committing or helping too early, not leaving their feet. That was a lot of contact there from Dodig, getting up into the grill of Palmer, who was in the corner.
Yeah, Huskies at 3 already.
Good sign for the Pandas. They were in foul trouble, the Pandas, in the first quarter. Now it's the Huskies' turn. Here's Harris. Wide open tray. Hits back iron. DeMong, lead pass. Good for a touchdown to Grasic. Misses the layup.
It's something that the Pandas need to be aware of too. Every time that the Huskies come down with that defensive board, I don't want to say that they're over pursuing, but they are sending a lot to that ball, which then leaves the transition open for the Huskies. And they haven't been able to translate, but there have been a few opportunities where they've sent that long pass and they haven't converted. But the Pandas need to be aware, like they're putting a lot of pressure on that defensive rebounder, but they're getting the ball out decently well. Like their bigs are handling that pressure, and you know, Pandas don't want it to be 6-second layup after 6-second layup, especially when they're trying to, you know, collapse this lead a little bit.
This game back at a 13-point lead, 26-13, as the Pandas hit their first three-pointer of the game, courtesy of Kia Easton Ihedio Hanma. One to watch. We'll see you on the other side of a commercial break. You're watching U Sports on CBC.
Feel every hit, goal, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline, immersing you in the game like never before, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. We deliver unparalleled simplicity and tailor-made digital broadcasting solutions crafted to make you feel every moment in a way like never before. Our passionate team ensures your message reaches audiences reliably every time. Proudly Canadian, we bring a touch of innovation and our passion to the world stage. ISI Live, be there.
Oh, smoke, Messi! C'est pas aussi mauvais que la cigarette, ça?
C'est juste une vapoteuse.
que t'as pas d'illusion.
Vapoter, c'est jouer avec sa santé. Brise l'illusion.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
.7:43 left in the second quarter. It's the 1 seed Huskies versus the 8 seed Pandas. And for Alberta, waging the comeback trail right now, leaning on a role player, Kia Ihedio Hanma. But Signatovic, she's been around, as has Taya Damong, a veteran on this Huskies group. But Signatovic relatively quiet as the Pandas searching for their offense.
Damong with 9 already.
Palmer into the lane. Who else but Damong coming over, ripping that one. Possession arrow favoring the Huskies once more. Damong's ability just to anticipate and read the play, to play cleanly, hands on the ball, not the arm. Standing out right now. There's Grasic. Damong, three-pointer. Hits air into the hands of Murphy Weeb. Moving screen called against Murphy Weeb on that one. Grasic tried to move around.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication on what they were trying to run there, I think.
There's about 3 seconds left in the clock, and she's got their signals crossed. Harris creating some spaces. Signatovic goes to the rim, throws it up, spills out. Signatovic right now, 4 boards, 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Pandas looking for some consistent scoring. Palmer, quick trigger. Nothing but the bottom of the net, just like you were saying, one of the best shooters, not just in Canada West, but all of Canada.
Yeah, you talk about consistent scoring, right on cue.
2 threes in this quarter for the Pandas. That's gonna be a travel called. Good defense there. Jenna Karich keeping the first year in front of her as Olivia Harm is looking to make her way to the rim. There's a nice duck in pass. Easton Ihedio Hanma. She could score outside, she could score inside. Well-rounded effort. And here's the double on Grasic. And that's what they're talking about. Great energy from the 4th-year Jenna Karich, yelling into the face of Kia, saying, you know what, we got this. Down 10. The lead was as large as 18, but now, here come the Pandas.
Yeah, I know that, like we talked about this earlier today too, but nobody's ever out. Like everyone that is in this tournament is here because they're competitors and they want to win, and you can never, I mean, not that this game was ever out of hand by any stretch, but you just can't discount anybody. Like everyone wants to win. They're going to fight to the very end. Doesn't matter what the score is. Even watching that Carleton Bishops game, like it was, you know, well within Carleton's control in that 4th quarter, but Bishops never went away because they're going to compete right to the very end.
And there's that bench energy, that bench mob from the Pandas. Cheering as Karich gets the block, and here come the Pandas. Off and running. Heat check. Easton. Ihedio Hanma. Felt like the roof was going to come off on that one.
Yeah, I would have.
Here's Palmer. Moving screen, Karich. Colin Flindle for the flop, but the official's saying, you know what? I got to call you on that one.
Yeah, she flopped. If you're listening to this, Maya, you flopped. But it worked.
Crafty. Got to know the officials. Grasic. looking to mend the wound right now. Pandas score an outburst. Actually winning this quarter 15-8. Here's Flindle. Touch pass to Primo.
Oh, what a move. The balance and the footwork on that by Primo.
Here's the runner, Signatovic. There's the kick. Tipped out by DeMong. Jaden Tanner's going to check back in. Semenik in for Easton Ihediohanma. Semenik, she can shoot it. Signatovic, free throw extended. Bank doesn't fall. There's the lead. Harris tipped back to Signatovic. Here's the swing. Shot doesn't drop for Harris. Dodig, time, space. Doesn't go. Primo, always a threat on the boards. Good job by Harris, reaching into that one, preventing a putback. Ball's gonna stay with the Huskies. Reese Hall checking in. Good minutes from Jenna Karich. Brought some good energy, really employing her team back into this one.
Yeah, really big shift. Only down 7 is pretty massive to where that hole was.
Primo doesn't go. 8 seconds on the clock. Here's Grasic. Off glass, doesn't fall either. And there's a reach committed by Grasic. That's going to be the 5th team foul charged against the Huskies. Gonna have free throws on the other side. Just in the nick of time, chance to bring it to within 5 for the Pandas. Tanner hits the first.
Like we talked about earlier, being able to use these free throws to their advantage, and they're doing that. They're 8 of 8 so far, punishing the Huskies for putting them on the line, and it's a big part of what's keeping them in this game.
Perfection so far, helping them chip away. Primo swung over to Reeder. 2 fouls in the first quarter. And you know what? Just because she was sitting for a bit, you can't forget about how good a sharpshooter she is. Logan Reeder.
Yeah, that's tough. Come in cold.
Thrown away by Harris. Grasic looking around, head on a swivel. Gage Grasic always looking to make the pass. DeMong,
Oh,
nice dish.
Pass, my goodness.
Wow. Cue that one up for the highlight reel. You're going to love that one on replay. Pocket pass, Grasic to Primo, and one opportunity. So you see that Reeder 3 checking back in. Excuse me, DeMong to Primo. Wow. How many ball handlers? How much ability does this Husky squad have to find another ball handler to find the open man?
And Primo is just that open person so often. Her positioning is impressive. She gets herself in great positions to not only, get that little dump down pass, but also get a rebound and be able to put that back in. Like, she's so efficient from the field. I don't know where she's at this year with her percentage of efficiency. I know she led the country last year. You get it to her within that, 10-foot span of the rim, and she's putting it in.
And you have your pick of games to watch with the Final 8. You have the best of 4 conferences. And this year at the 2025 Indochino U Sports Final 8, presented by Victory Creative Group. Coverage is going to keep on going. This Saturday, it's the women's semifinals beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific on CBC. And catch the women's gold medal game at 7 p.m. Eastern on CBC Gem and Sportsnet. But leads back up to 10 points for the Huskies. Coming out of this timeout, Primo's going to have a chance to bring it back up to 11. Pandas got as close as 5. Showing that they have some firepower. Still a long way to go. Basketball, a game of runs. And the Huskies, they came here to run a marathon.
That was good. Game of runs.
Yeah, it's something where, you know what, I never had the endurance to get out of high school basketball. You played post-secondary, so you know what, you bring that analysis because you've been there, you've won that title.
Well, not a national title. I was never part of one of those. We won a Can West in my
There you
in
go.
my,
That counts, that's a title.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. It's crazy though that, you know, we won the third one when I was playing and they won their 10th this year. I'm like, how much time has passed? But it's also, you know, not that much. I mean, they've won 8 out of 11 or something like that. So they're no strangers to championships and winning, and playing at the pace that they need to win those games.
Huge bucket. Semenuk, we said she could shoot it, hitting that one from Kelowna.
One of the things when I spoke to,
Ooh. Do you see a travel on that one?
I couldn't see her feet by the end. I don't know that I saw a foul though, if I'm gonna be honest. It was good, you know, good footwork and she was balanced, but I thought Hall got that kind of pretty clean. Like a little bit of a bump there, but DeMong was off balance and fading, and so yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Caught in no man's land, but who else but Ted DeMong to make something out of nothing? Crafty, the Albertan, leaving her province and saying, you know what, I like this Huskies program, and I'd say the choice has paid off. Here's Harris. Always calm, cool, and collected, Morgan Harris. Signatovic on Primo, post on post.
Primo playing such good on-ball defense, just bodying her up every chance she gets, making it really tough on her.
There's the swing to Reeder. Can she hit her second? That one doesn't go. 2:45 left in the second quarter. Here's Semenuk, recently coming off a 3. She's still feeling it. Back to Signatovic. Tough pass there to Tanner, and an even harder catch. Spills out.
Yeah, they're just not seeing each other. Like Karich was in there with a mismatch, had a good post up, didn't see her, threw that out to the corner, then tried to attack, no space. It's they're disjointed. They're not on the same page right now. They don't have great rhythm, and they need to get back to what they were doing when they were making that comeback, right? Just good, solid passing, balanced, better decision making on the shots that they're settling for.
Here's Grasic, kicked out to DeMong. Doesn't settle for the 3. Defender drops, DeMong hits front iron. Here's Grasic again.
Ooh.
That one goes. Nifty little move as she was run off the line. Harris. Signatovic at the seal, and she gets it to go. Claire Signatovic, they're going to need more of that.
And they need to look and see, because they have had, like, their posts have had some pretty good seals inside, but the guards just aren't able to get that pass inside. They need to be looking for that a little bit more. Those mismatches are available when the Huskies switch and in transition defense, but they haven't made them pay for that.
When Signatovic is one of the first up the floor and she gets that deep position, she can be so tough to handle as she was in that last possession. Reeder, 7 seconds.
Well,
yeah.
Being able to hit Signatovic in transition, like she gets out and runs, and she's so long, and she's capable. I've seen her make some very nice catches in transition, like out in front. But being able to throw that pass and having the angle to be able to throw it is difficult as well. But I think if they just throw it and put it out there for Claire, I think that she could have some easy buckets out in transition, because she's running hard.
With Claire, you don't want her on the catch around the three-point arc, because Primo just open inside.
I'm going to have to rewatch that baseline out of bounds later and steal it. That was really nice.
Palmer going to the rim, throws it up, doesn't go. Signatovic trying to keep it alive. Nelda, that one spills out. Signatovic driving to the rim, no call. And here's Grasic. Last defender back, and we got a block party. At least Too Good recently checking in, saying, you know what, we're not going down without a fight.
Good hustle, nice play.
Grasic was making her way to the rim. At least Too Good outstretched with that right hand, clean block.
I think Elise was smiling before she even even hit it.
It's like when your eyes light up and say, chase down.
It's like, oh, I'm getting this one.
Grasick barreling her way to the rim. So good and crafty with that first step, Gage Grasick. As we mentioned, winning National Player of the Year, 18 points a game, 5.5 boards, 6 assists per game typically. Grasick tonight, offense hasn't been too consistent, 5 points, 2 for 9, but it hasn't had to be. She's contributing with the boards, 6 of those, 2 assists. And you know what? Even when the shots aren't falling, she's still making the right reads.
Well, and just like I talked about before with the Pandas getting to the line, like, you know, she's 5 points in the first half is quite quiet, so you don't want to put her on the line and allow her to find her shot there either. And she's only hit 1 3, and you know that she can go absolutely bananas from beyond the arc.
Signatovic dumped off to Semenik. Eastonai Hedio Hanma, she hit a 3 and a couple lay-ins earlier. Tough catch, Semenik all the way to the rim, throws it up. Kept it alive, looks like it was last touched by Too Good. Ball's gonna go back to the Huskies. Huskies really collapsing as the Pandas make their way to the rim. Ball's gonna stay with the Pandas.
Fans are unhappy, but I don't know. That one I agree with a no call. Like she was there waiting for her.
It is going to go back to the Huskies. Check out the arm on Grasick. Tipped out, stolen by Signatovic. Eastonai Hedio Hanma, 10 seconds to work with. That's a deep one, spills out. Rebound goes to Primo. 5 seconds to work with. Grasick, can she hit it?
Oh,
put back
try.
Opportunity. That ball is going to go out of bounds. First half's going to come to a conclusion. Referees are going to talk about if there's a couple seconds left on the clock. Looks like they're going to conclude there is, as Melda was going in for the offensive board.
Yeah, she had more time than I think she thought. She came, you know, had that rebound and then tried to just alley-oop it. I think she actually could have caught and went back up with it, but tough. Like it's hard to know with that timing, and sometimes it seems like it's going way faster than it is.
Looks like they're going to give about half a second to the Huskies. And with a quick trigger of some of their shooters, as we have a timeout called by head coach Lisa Tomaitis, she says, I've been around for 27 seasons. I know I can get a shot off with only half a second.
I need to get my board out to be drawing these up.
You imagine it's going to be something at the rim.
I mean, when you have so many weapons out there, you can throw so many, not distractions, that's not the right word, but like, you know, you throw somebody out as a decoy, and then you have so many other options. Like, I mean, you could use Gage Grasick as a decoy,
exactly.
Or if you decide you're not going to guard her as tight, then all of a sudden you just give her the ball and she's going to get a shot off too. So
we talk about the adept shooting of Gage Grasick, Logan Reeder. I would say someone like a Taya DeMong going to the rim, quick out of her hands on a backdoor cut if they can get that. But they're probably going to run 1 or 2 actions and see what works best.
yeah, and it's got to be a touch and in. Like, you get 0.3 seconds is, I believe, is the rule about how long you need to have to get it off. So it's got to be in your hand and out immediately.
No DeMong on the floor. There's the in. Ellen Murphy-Weeb was looking to try and get that one. Good defense
Dodig
from
was
the
there
Pandas.
too. If she would have just continued to cut through the middle, it would have been right in her hands, but they were looking for Weeb.
Dodig was trying to get open on that one, but that's going to be all she wrote for the first half. 41-28 for the Huskies over the Pandas. Pandas got as close as 5 points in the second quarter. Don't go anywhere. Lots of U Sports action left to watch on CBC. But in the meantime, stay tuned for our PepsiCo Foods Canada U Sports Champion Spotlight. Tonight we're going to be catching up with UNB Director of Athletics and former women's basketball coach Jeff Speedy to talk about the U Sports Shoot for the Cure that has raised millions of dollars for breast cancer research. Take a watch, and we'll see you for the third quarter.
My name is Jeff Speedy. I'm the Director of Athletics here at the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton, New Brunswick. I'm in year 2 of being the Director of Athletics here after a 30-plus year U Sports coaching career. Shoot for the Cure started from a meeting room with all the women's basketball coaches from U Sports. Way back in 2007, the women's basketball coach from Bishop's University, Rod Gilpin, indicated that they were starting to have a fundraiser game for an alumni of his program who was battling breast cancer. So he brought up that they were having that Think Pink game like was happening all through NCAA, a bunch of different initiatives down there that were similar. He shouted out, well, why don't we do something together like they do in the US instead of 4 or 5 of us doing something on our own? And that's really how the idea started. I was about to become the president of the Women's Basketball Coaches Association, I think, the year after that. So I kind of took the bull by the horns from Rob's idea, and a few of us kind of got on board and started the national initiative. And I think, for the first couple of years, we had 8, 10, 12 schools getting involved. That was about it. But as time moved on and as everybody kind of got involved and got engaged, it peaked 10, 12 years later with every single women's basketball program in U Sports being involved. So, it really grew into something special, and, we certainly didn't envision that from that meeting the very first day. When I was a women's basketball coach for all those years, I felt it was my responsibility to help the student athletes on the team that I coached become better students, better basketball players, and better people. Getting them involved in the community and showing them the importance of being involved in the community is one of the easiest ways to do that. At UNB, our teams are very involved in the community, not just the women's basketball team that I used to coach and our current coach, Aaron McElheen, is doing a great job with, but a lot of our teams are very engaged and involved in the community. It's been very rewarding for me to see that kind of growth and our student athletes realize the difference they can make in the community and the importance of giving back to the community. And if it makes them, a slightly better person because they're of a giving mindset and it's something that they take with them as an adult and do for the rest of their lives, then, that's another reason why Shoot for the Cure is important and can do more than just raising funds and raising awareness to help beat cancer.
Where exceptional student athletes are born, where records are broken, where great plays are made. where school colors ignite passion, where champions prevail, where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
This is a call to empower, to unite, and to celebrate the bold in all their glory. It's time to own the ice. Are you ready?
We are athletes. Do you know what Husky athletes are made of? Determination.
Hustle.
Resilience.
We're part of a team and a community.
We work hard for every goal. And every grade. Do you know what Husky athletes become? Pharmacists. Teachers. Professionals. Olympians.
When you invest in student athletes, you invest in the future.
When you elevate her, you elevate the game.
Watch women win.
Everyone watches Husky women's sports. See her,
be her.
This is more than just a game. This is about who rules the court. The U Sports Basketball Championships, March 13th to 16th on CBC Gem.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Le sport en direct sur icitout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles. Des athlètes de grand talent. Des sports de haut niveau. Tout ça sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est simple et gratuit sur icitout.tv.
U Sports on CBC, presented by les championnats U-Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Theraburn Medical Supplies, Les Bagues Baron Rings, BioSteel, Wilson, Apar, and by Indochino.
It's been a fun one here tonight at War Memorial Gym. Andrew Savory alongside Kira Lyons. Lots to enjoy in that first half. We saw the great shooting from the Huskies early on. Taya Damong getting active, getting to the rim. Courtney Primo, some nice duck-ins inside. Good ability to get each other involved. Gage Grassick, bit of a lid on the basket for her. The Pandas got close to within 5 points, but lost control of the game a little bit towards the end of that second quarter, Kira.
Yeah, before we get into talking about the game a little bit, something we hadn't acknowledged and I think is really neat is that we have an all-female reffing staff at this game. Something that I appreciate so much, and when I look around this gym right now, the coaching staff of SAS, so much of the coaching staff of the Pandas. I look across at the scorers table, and with me in the broadcast booth, and just the amount of women involved in this game, the trainers. I look over at the Pandas and at the Huskies, like their trainers are all females, their therapists, all that kind of thing, and it's such an empowering thing to see. And I loved when I showed up and I saw 3 female refs doing this game, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and have some appreciation for that.
It's huge, and they've called a great game, and it's not easy to do with 2 teams that are capable of playing physical. And as we look at the halftime stats brought to you by Wilson, official U Sports Basketball, tonight you're looking at 2 of the top coaches in all of Canada West and U Sports at large. 2 of the longest tenured coaches at that, Lisa Tomaitis at 27 years, head coach Scott Edwards at 19 years. You always have a feeling in Canada West Final 8 action, you're going to see Alberta and SAS. They have that legacy component to both programs, always seem to be in the last 4 teams standing, whether it's conference play or the Final 8 nationally.
It's actually quite incredible. Every year you just expect that the Huskies and the Pandas are going to be at the Final 8, that they find a way, and because they have so much success, the amount of wild cards that they get when they don't make it and the opportunities, but it's the success of both of these programs is astounding, and they're a staple at this Final 8 tournament, and it's very fun that we get to watch them match up. I know it's a little bit disappointing first game, but I always love a good Pandas-Husky matchup.
Here's Tanner. Isna Hediohanma, tough catch.
Oh, nice play.
We talked about her athleticism, skying up for that one. Now she has to D up on Reeder. Caught ball, but also caught a little bit of elbow. Reeder sneaking up the floor, went right to the rim.
But good hustle by Kia, and pretty, might have got it right at the end there, but like finishing under the rim, and then the awareness of having to get back and then pick up the ball that's been headmanned, just a really good hustle play. Unfortunately, fouled her, but a good hustle play by Kia.
And Kia wasn't intended to be the first player back, but with her speed and agility, able to prevent an easy look at the rim. And you know what? Both free throws missed by Reeder as Sinjatovic rips that one out. Alberta faithful here in the crowd, not liking that call. Possession arrow is going to favor the Huskies. It's an 11-point spread here for the Huskies. That one tipped for a moment into the hands of Grasic. DeMong, off her leg. Last touch by the Huskies. That's a good defensive stand to allow the offensive board. And then spilling off the leg of DeMong on the way to the rim.
Yeah, nice hand in there by Annecy on DeMong's drive. Just enough to poke it out.
Tanner trying to free herself up. Checked by Dodig. Here's Palmer. Spin move on Dodig.
Good hand.
Hand thwarting her ability to gather that ball. Palmer diving for it. Reeder there also. That one's going to stay with the Pandas. 14 seconds on the clock to work with. Every possession counts, like you were saying in the pregame. If this thing gets close, you want those 50-50 balls.
Need them. They're so important.
Here's Sinjatovic. Going right in. That's a nice touch pass. Great cut by Eastonai Hediohanma. Sinjatovic didn't know if she knew what to do with it, but Kia darting to the rim at the right time.
Yeah, some nice cuts by Kia here. And I think Sinjatovic is who found her on that other back cut too.
A little bit of chemistry. These two like playing alongside each other. You play at the elbow, I'll dart to the rim. Hediohanma hits the second. A little bit of ball pressure. Got to get it up the court.
Nice play. Just the awareness.
Just in the nick of time. Here's Primo. Handoff. Reeder. Checked. Dodig. Wide open for three. That one. Airballed. Pandas. Scott Edwards saying, that's more like it. That's my squad.
Yeah, a bit more disruptive defense, not just allowing them to catch and put the ball on the floor wherever they want. There's pressure, there's arms, there's hands. It's nice to see that aggression.
Harris over the timeline. Eastonai Hediohanma, burst of speed. Touched out to Tanner. Tanner taking some contact there. She fought her way through. No call, and here's Grasic. Commits the chase down foul. A little bit ticky-tacky here as we get to the 2-minute mark into the way of this third quarter.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, I mean, the Pandas faithful definitely unhappy with the reffing, but you can't allow that to play into your performance. You can't control it. You need to adapt to it and make changes if need be. I actually think that the reffing's been pretty solid, allowing them to play, but calling the egregious stuff.
Grasic gonna get called on that one. Didn't have her feet set as Sinjatovic tried to make her way up the floor. Look at this swat from Sinjatovic on Primo. That's post-on-post action, showing why she's a Defensive Player of the Year. And there's the block committed by Grasic shuffling over. In any game, there's always going to be calls you do and don't like. It's usually the time in which it happens that you dislike, the context.
Yeah, I need to have that next play mentality. You know, you can't control it. They're not going to change it. So what can you do now? Who cares? Get a stop. You know, talk to each other. Can't allow them to take you out of your game, and I think that happens a lot.
Dodig, tough bounce pass, crowd by DeMong.
Oh, nice.
Look at the scoop.
Oh, what a play.
Passes that the average human being cannot make. Taya Demong, eyes in the back of her head. Looking for Primo underneath. Fouled. Riley Semenuk going to check in as Kia checks to the bench for the Pandas. First one drops for Primo. She's had a nice overall game. Working on a double-double, up to 10 points, 9 rebounds.
Oh my goodness, 9 rebounds already. Like I said, her positioning, she's so strong too. In her positioning, she's super aware, she's active, she moves really well off penetration, and she just finds herself in the right spots. And, you know, plays undersized for, I mean, the height between her and Signatovic, like there's quite a discrepancy there, but so strong and able to just beat her to spots.
Reese Hall had the seal on Demong, had to sit for a large part of that second quarter. Foul trouble with 3. Demong's gonna pick that one up.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard has that wrong. Got her at 1 foul.
As Demong makes her way, commits the foul, then strips the steal, goes uncontested. 2 shots at the free throw line, crashing into the cameraman front and center. Taya Demong all smiles. Good to see her get up quickly. As we see, barreling to the rim, Demong. Right into your living room on that one to the cameraman. First one drops for Demong. Second one doesn't fall. Signatovic, strong board. Up the floor. She's got Primo on her. Flindle is ready for it. Here's Grasic. She's got Flindle. Open 3. Gage, Grasic. Doesn't go.
One of the things, we didn't really talk about it on the broadcast, but just at that break, is for the Pandas, it's not necessarily what you want in your offense when you have Claire attacking from the outside. You want their guards to be able to take that control so they're not forcing that offense. Hit her on the move, get her on an attack. But once she starts making decisions from beyond the arc or, you know, in that 15-foot starting to attack, it's just, you want to put her in spots where she's going to be a bit more successful, and their guards need to take control.
Tanner gonna have to put it up quickly. 4 seconds to work with. Signatovic, that's offside rim. Off and running with numbers. Demong going right to the rim. Taking a little bit of contact from Semenuk. Demong, no worse for wear, gets it to drop. 14-point lead for the Huskies. That's a high catch for Signatovic. Can't get it to go on the elbow jumper. Semenuk calling for her to swing it. Unable to run an action there as Claire Signatovic caught with the ball late in the clock.
On a battle in the key there with Karich and Grasic. Not really an option to throw that in, as Grasic was working pretty hard and had good position, but something to keep an eye on when they get those mismatches inside. They got to be able to find a way to put it in.
And I like Karich coming back into this game. Also checking back in is Olivia Harm. Karich brought some big energy in that second quarter when the Pandas got back in it. They're going to need her to do so again. Here's Harm. Coming out of Stockholm, Sweden in her first year. Flindle. Continuation waved off. Fouls on the ground.
Yeah, I think foul and then a travel. Foul right there. Oh, in the bonus. So shooting anyways, didn't matter.
By Flindle to the line. It's the first. Second one spills out. Signatovic. Can she get it off? That's going to be a double dribble. Signatovic, like you said, she needs that ball side relief when she gets the board. Allow her to race up the court and try and seal early. It's a tough matchup with Ella Murphy-Weed. They kind of neutralize each other in terms of playing style. But for Signatovic, a little bit too much time with the rock in her hands, leading to some turnovers. Grasic. Tipped out.
Good read.
Karic, like we said, that energy, anticipating the pass and darting over. Back to Grasic, quick trigger three, takes some contact. Morgan Harris chipping her on the arm for Gage Grasic. All smiles, almost like a silent assassin, enjoying the slow pain she's inflicting on the Pandas. Despite it not being her greatest offensive game as that first free throw drops, you just know that she could light it up at any given moment.
Well, and there's so much game left. Like, she's got 7, but there's 15, 16 minutes left, you know? And for somebody that scores the way that she does and the heaters that she can go on, she could end this game with 30 if she wanted.
Couldn't agree more. We saw it in the men's game previously. Player of the Year, Nate Petrone. Of course, other Player of the Year, Gage Grasic, had 6 points at the half, ended up with 24. Here's Morgan Harris. Quick out to Karic. Over to Reese, she can shoot it. That one doesn't go. 5 seconds on the clock. Grasic, another steal, all-around game for her.
Ooh.
A little bit chippy. Here's Flindle, push shot. That one goes off glass. Maya Flindle up to 7 points. Largest lead of the game here, 51-32. Huskies taking over right now. We're gonna have a media timeout on the floor. Head into commercial. Huskies up big, 51-32. You're watching U Sports on CBC.
Delaney, Northwest Territories, the birthplace of hockey. Here, you'll find a community full of history and tradition. A community that Quaker surprised by transforming their arena kitchen into a Quaker breakfast bar. Stocked with our Canadian whole grain oats, it's now a place to gather, to eat, and to celebrate. We're proud to feed the passion for hockey in the place where it all started. Because we believe no matter where you're from, you've got this.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
The Saskatchewan Huskies, the runners-up last year in the Final 8, searching to advance for a date with UBC, who took down St. Mary's earlier tonight. Putting their stamp on this one, 51-32, up 19. 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Arm back to Grasic. It's the 20th turnover committed by the Pandas. Hasn't been a perfect game for the Huskies either. 17 turnovers committed on their side. Both teams shooting under 40% from the field.
Yeah, it's got first game of the tournament kind of, written on it in the field goal percentage and the amount of turnovers. Like, neither of those teams, there's, like I was talking, there's 15 minutes left of this game, and the 20 and 18 turnovers is far too many for both of these teams to be happy with that.
Harris gets that one back, bubbled around. Harris trying to go up. She's got 3 seconds to work with.
Oh.
A little English off the grass. Morgan Harris. Nice swing. Flindle. Extra pass from Dodig. Doesn't go.
Nice play by Dodig. And a good hand by Palmer. Strip that one away.
Murphy Weeb reaching. Annecy Palmer decided to call her own number. Gonna head to the free throw line for 2 shots as we watch that circus shot from Morgan Harris in the previous possession, able to get that one to go. In a quiet game for Harris overall, usually only around 6 points a game. That's her first make. 1 for 6 from the field, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Palmer hits the first. 16-point deficit. Can they break it down? Can they get it back to 10 before the start of the fourth? Second one drops.
Yeah, getting it to single digits before the start of that fourth would be huge for the Pandas here.
Need to get a couple stops. Signatovic taking a breather right now. Reese Hall, the lone post, as well as Karich. Good defense by Harris. 5 seconds to work with Flindle. Every move in the book. What a defensive display from Harris. That should be a shot clock violation, but DeMong got it up in time. Primo. Swung. Flindle. That's a tough one off the dribble, but Primo, who else to make things difficult for the Pandas?
And the Pandas doing a good job to make them take tough shots, and then to give that up is so deflating. And every time it happens, it's just that much closer to either a bucket or a foul.
It's also just tiring as well. The clock resets, you have to dig in another possession. Pandas being forced to work for every opportunity to regain the ball.
Physically exhausting, mentally it's deflating. You work so hard, and then to just give up something like that. And those things over 4 quarters and however many possessions, like those add up into big things.
Palmer, nice crossover, get into the rim, trying to swing it for Harris. Harris was up on the wing rather than the corner. That one thrown out of bounds. You can see the turnover there. Primo on the catch. Here's Grasic. Breaks the press. Bit of a bump from behind. It's going to send Grasic to the free throw line.
Something Grasic does so well. If you watch here, she's able to cut back in front of her as soon as she got a step, and just, I mean, Kia reached a little bit there too, but even just the bump as she kind of X's back in front. Such a smart positional play, and just showing, you know, snippets of her IQ all over the place.
They always talk about angles. These coaches like yourself, angles, positioning, body language. Gage Grasic seems to be an expert in that department.
Well, she's her 4th year in one of the best programs in the country. That's what you learn.
Here's Harris. 2.5 minutes left in the third. Bit of a bump.
Yeah.
That one looks like it might have been Dodig.
I think that was DeMong, yeah.
DeMong.
Just right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't have position on her, bumped her. Didn't need to either, had help.
Tanner's gonna head to the free throw line. Needs these ones. First one spills out. It's the second. Leads back at 15. Credit to the Panthers. They're hanging around. Huskies are having to work for it. We got a press right here. Tough to break, but the Huskies get it over the timeline. Here's Grasic. Finding her read. Looking for a seam. That's a tough swing to Melda. Tough foul on Harris. Legs getting caught up on Melda. And for the Pandas, They're going to have a decision to make here. Harris going to the bench with 4 fouls. We likely won't see her until the 4th quarter. Semenuk's going to check in. Going to see a little bit more rock in the hands of Palmer and Tanner.
Yeah, being able to throw that pass from, the slot all the way into the corner forced a really long closeout on Harris. Like, she was really deep sitting on top of Primo there. And then almost enough where Annecy had to drop. Both of them kind of went, but neither of them had good position to guard the basketball there. So just the ability to throw that pass and the vision from Grasic just to cause that long closeout led to that foul on those free throws.
Tanner, open 3. Got hit in the arm by Melda. Going to go to the line for 3 shots, chance to get it to within 12. And for the Huskies, they end up being victorious in this one. They're going to have a date with UBC, like we said, to really grind it out. A seesaw affair with St. Mary's. 55-50. Everyone's got a little bit of first game jitters, not a lot of offensive firepower here today. But Ottawa as well. That was a chippy game, 71-67, inching it out over Laval.
Yeah, that 55-50, I know UBC is a very defensive team, and I'm assuming, St. Mary's with the Defensive Player of the Year also. So I'm assuming there was some low percentages, but also just a defensive battle. They're so long and big, and they make it really tough for teams to score on them.
St. Mary's coming in as the 4 seed against UBC as the 5 seed. Both teams shooting 28.6% for St. Mary's and 31% for UBC. Here's DeMong. Crossover by Reese. Look at that pass.
Oh, my goodness.
Great rotational defense. Signatovic over the back of Primo. Tanner swung to Reese. And they find an opening. Here it is, Semenuk. She's hit one already. That one doesn't fall. Signatovic fighting for it. Hitting the deck is Primo. Tough to get anything past the great wall of Primo as she swallowed that one up as Signatovic was trying to get the offensive board. Checking back in is Logan Reeder. Melda's going to take a seat. So we see that block from Signatovic. Back-to-back blocks, give her 2 on that last possession. Dodig. Checked by Reese. She can be shifty. Look at that dribble. Ball on a string. Put him on skates.
Oh, and that screen. I'm not sure who was responsible for calling that one out, but Ella Reese just got hammered on that screen.
Look at this. Inside out, through the legs, back and forth.
Oh, gotta let your teammate know that's how you get hurt.
Winded, that's a tough one. Good to see Ella Reese okay. Semenuk driving on Primo. It's a tough pass. Kept alive. In the hands of Semenuk. Excuse me, that's Palmer. DeMong ran off the 3-point line, straight to the rim. She's going to go to the line for 2 shots. And for DeMong, you talk about nice head fakes. Her just making eye contact with the rim is going to draw a defender.
Well, and she's so even keel. So everything that she does, you believe it because it's, her emotions are the same. Like whether she gets a foul, she scores an and one, has a nice dime, whatever it is, like she's got the same kind of demeanor. And so when she looks at the rim, no matter what, you're thinking she might do it. She's serious always. I don't know.
Just the disposition, the demeanor. DeMong. One of those players that just seems so coachable because in late game situations, especially close games at that, she's not easily rattled.
It's mentally tough, and you can see it on the way that she just handles herself. Like she gets in foul trouble and she just deals with it, or if she doesn't deal with it well, she hides it well from the public. Because every time I watch her, it's always just acceptance and moving on to the next one.
Semenuk back to Palmer. Last one didn't go. Palmer front iron. 5 seconds to work with. Grasic, can she get it up the floor? Here's a prayer. Will it be answered? Dodig.
Oh, can't dribble that one.
Didn't think she got it off in time. Referees are going to wave it off.
No.
We'll see if we get another look on it, but seems pretty much the consensus. When your coach is smiling with a little bit of a wink, as Lisa is, you know you likely didn't get it off, but you know what, Andrea Dodig, remember how that felt, because you're up 13 points heading into the fourth quarter, 53-40 in favor of the Huskies over the Pandas. We'll see you on the flip side for 10 minutes of closing time. It's U Sports on CBC.
This is a call to empower, to unite, and to celebrate the bold in all their glory. It's time to own the ice. Are you ready?
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Buckle up, we got 10 minutes left of hoops here. It's the number 1 seed Saskatchewan Huskies versus the Alberta Pandas in the 8 seed slot. Huskies up by 13 points, 53-40. Andrew Savory in the call alongside Kira Lyons. Pandas have threatened a few times. It's not out of reach by any extent of the imagination right now as we look at these stats presented by Wilson from the third quarter, Kira.
Yeah, like Huskies have been in control for the most part for the entire game, but the Pandas have made some runs and made it close and made it exciting, and definitely not out of reach at this point. Like 13 points, can't be comfortable with that if you're the Huskies, and can't be feeling down if you're the Pandas, because it's not enough. And they've shown that they can make some runs, so you know how this third quarter starts is really big for both teams here.
Easton at Hedy Ohanma, good to see her back on the floor. Could she get that one to drop? It spills out, tapped out by Morgan Reese. Ball's gonna go back to the Huskies. Morgan Harris fighting for that board. In her fourth year, a local product, education major, Edmontonian. Gonna have to play with 4 fouls. Could she stay careful as Primo draws some contact from at least Too Good? Like you said, how the Pandas are able to start this quarter is going to be so crucial. Good pump fake. That rebound just gobbled up by Primo, but Signatovic, how many blocks does she have tonight? Last line of defense.
Yeah, showing off why she's Defensive Player of the Year. Like even the ones that, nice play. Even the ones that she's not getting, that's why she's so dangerous. Like she gets, you know, those blocks nice and tight, but then everything that's around her, she changes like that. Didn't get a piece of that, but she changed that shot, and she changes their ability to finish around the rim because of the threat of the block. So even when she's not getting a piece, she's on your mind.
Pandas playing with a little bit more speed in their step right now, trying to speed up this game. Not a ton of fast break points to their name for either squad. 8 for the Huskies, 5 for the Pandas, but I like the decision. Signatovic ran the floor in that last possession, which she hasn't had a lot of opportunities to do. Morgan Harris found her with the rock.
Yeah, definitely where you want her offensively. You know, less with that decision making in the full court and more on the move, close to the rim.
Too Good going to be called for the legal screen as Palmer hit that one. smiling about it. That could have been a bit of a turning point. Would have swung it back. Here we see, stepping into it. Right in front of the official.
She's upset about it, but yeah, you were moving.
Last stand for the Pandas. Here's Reeder. Swarmed. Trying to keep it alive. That one going to be a turnover. Look at that double on Reeder. Trapped in the corner. These Pandas, a little bit more pep in their step right now.
Well, and there's a little bit of like disjointedness on the Huskies offense there. Like had Taya on that face cut and then Reeder cut right into her, and that's kind of what initiated that double. Just not giving each other space, not having the awareness of what's going on the offside of the floor and kind of moving on top of each other.
Signatovic finds Tanner in the corner. 4 seconds to throw it up. That one gets blocked. Perimeter defense from the Huskies. Top class in the nation. Here's Flindle. Head of steam. Spin move. Stop it on a dime. And that one rolls in. Put that one on CBC Sports highlight reel. You want to see that one.
The footwork. I've seen her play enough that you think that wouldn't surprise me, but my goodness.
Palmer still feeling it.
Nice
Last
shot.
one didn't count. That one does. 10-point lead. Pandas. Now's the time.
Huge answer by Palmer there. That's a really big three. Put this within 10.
Grasick. She smells blood in the water. She says, let's put this one away. Here's DeMong. Nice little move on Reese. Spills out. Here's Signatovic. She wants to go to the rim. Grasick is ready for it. That one out of the hands. Launched by Tanner. Doesn't go.
Huskies need to get on the glass. Also, like Primo's been the only one in there the last couple of times. They need to be rebounding those shots. They haven't been hitting.
Semenik going to check into the next whistle. Here's Grasick. Swing to the corner. Dodig. Spills out. Offside iron. Tanner. Harris is off right now, so it's Palmer and Tanner bringing it up. And there you go, coming over, Annecy Palmer. Lisa Tomaitis wants to talk it over. Here come the Pandas, down 7 with 6:44 left to go.
Yeah, I can't give her time and space and don't want her heating up either. Like, she's such a prolific scorer, showing off why she's their leading scorer. She's a threat beyond the arc. She can get to the rim. She's really smooth. Great touch, great finisher. So Huskies need to make sure that they're aware where she is, because now she hit those last two. Was that her that hit the one before that as well? Yeah, I can't allow her to heat up.
Don't go anywhere. 7-point lead for the Huskies. We'll see you after the break.
Le sport en direct sur ICTou.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ICTou.tv.
Annecy Palmer has more in the tank. Welcome back inside War Memorial. 2 threes here in the fourth quarter for Palmer, up to 11 points. 3 of 6 from deep here tonight. It's a 7-point lead for the Huskies. Can they hang on, or do the Pandas have a little bit of a comeback to make? Dodig, 10-footer. Primo just shading in front of her, making some space. Semenik.
Oh! Oh, she hit her face really hard on the floor there.
Hope she's okay. Dodig looks to shake it off. She's going to need a whistle as Grassick comes over. Consoling her teammate. You hope she's all right. You could hear the thud on that one. Understandably winded as Dodig and Semenik both fall into the hardwood. Good to hear the applause from the crowd here. It's a tough collision.
Yeah, both just going hard for the ball, but hit her face on the floor.
Walking under her own power, always good to see. She'll talk it over with the training staff. That one's spilling out. Last touch by the Pandas. Here's Grassick. Guarded by Tanner. Little push shot, doesn't go, late clock. Reese Hall with the board. Quickly up to Palmer. Most dangerous player on the court for the Pandas here in the fourth. Loses that one. Takes a couple Huskies down with her, but it's collected by Harm.
The confidence of, and even just there with Harm being able to dribble that over, you know, all of them more than capable than just getting it over half, getting them organized, you know, getting the ball back into a guard's hands.
That one could have been a dagger from Flindle, a backbreaker if that, but it falls out, and here's Semenik. Tanner, over to Palmer. Public enemy number one if you're a Huskies fan. She's been deadly. Reese Hall, great hustle.
Oh.
Flindle would love to have that one back, and she's all smiles.
Well, Huskies got away with that one. There was a miscommunicated switch there, which then had Palmer wide open for that three, and that's the last person. I mean, her three-point percentage is crazy. Like, that's the last person you want to leave open, so they got to make sure that they communicate through that. And a good hustle by Maya to try and come up with that steal.
Kia Easton Ihediohanma waiting to come in. Nice game for her. Team high, 14 points. Harris playing with 4 fouls. Signatovic off the dribble. That's a tough look, hard off the glass. Back out. Tanner. That's key. So key on that swing. Harris to Tanner. Back within 6. Huskies gonna have to strap up right now.
Yeah, making this a game.
Here's Primo. Flindle. Grassick, frontline drive. No one there to rotate as Signatovic was caught trying to handle Primo. Palmer to Tanner. Thought about it. Driving past Flindle. Took some contact from Primo. Good decision, Tanner. You had to close her out because she hit the 3 recently. Decides to go to the rim for the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, Tanner getting to the line a ton, super aggressive offensively here for the Pandas, and that rotation just late, and she took advantage of it, and her aggression really paying off for the Pandas right now.
Jaden Tanner also in her 4th year like Morgan Harris. From a little bit south in Calgary, playing up north in Edmonton the past couple years. Hits the first. Part of this core for head coach Scott Edwards. They hosted Nationals last year. Now tonight, looking to pull off the upset. Tanner misses the second. Bouncing around to Signatovic, thrown out. Last man back is Palmer. Here's Grassick, thwarting the fast break.
Yeah, deciding to use the clock, didn't have numbers there. Oh. Oh my goodness. Right, like had been quiet for the last little bit. Only had, what, 9 points or something, and then you need a couple buckets to mitigate the Pandas' run, and who comes up with some key ones? Player of the year, of course.
Dial a bucket, as they should call her. It's Gage Grasick, scoring when they need it most. Pandas getting as close as 6. That leads back to 9 points. As head coach Scott Edwards is going to talk it over in the timeout. Lots of championships going on throughout the weekend and throughout the month of March. We've talked about it as March Madness. If you're on CBC Sports, you should know it's the home of university sports in Canada. You can catch the best U Sports women's hockey teams as they face off in the 2025 Miller Waste Systems U Sports Women's Hockey Championship in Woolwich, Ontario. The action begins next Thursday, March 20th on CBC. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. And the Huskies would certainly like to be crowned champions this year, but they faced a tough test from the 8-seed Pandas, who, despite being down as much as 19, have come back. They're within 9. Time starting to run out. 3:40 left in this one. Harris over to Hall. Quiet night for her. Lost the handle.
And again, using the clock, recognize they didn't have an advantage or numbers. Ooh.
Grasick trying to swipe at that one. That's going to be her 4th key foul committed. The only player in true foul trouble for the Huskies, Gage Grasick. Here's Palmer. Back to Hall. She can hit that. Doesn't go.
Oh,
Ripped
nice
right
play.
out. Right to Signatovic. Corral taking some contact, but they're going to call the jump before she got it up. Possession's going to favor the Huskies. Signatovic can't believe it.
I think one of the things, and it's been a bit of a theme today, just, this game and watching Carleton, the physicality at this level, they're going to let more go. When you're competing at this Final 8 tournament, they're going to allow the physical play to happen. But it's the teams that are able to initiate and be in control of those moments that tend to fare better. They're not going to bail you out with calls every single time. You have to be able to withstand that contact and also initiate it to put yourself in a good position to be successful. And I think that the better teams, the best teams do that really well. And Carleton really displayed that this afternoon. Every single drive that they had, they were the one initiating that contact and forcing them, to be in good position early. And I think the Huskies do a good job of that as well. They're strong, they hold their ground, and they initiate a lot of that contact.
Speaking of initiating, Demong, how many times, it's got to be 4 or 5, that she's reached in to squeeze on that jump ball, slowing things down. How do you gain your rhythm when every time you draw him to paint, Taya Demong is going to meet you there?
And Primo allowing, playing good defense to allow Demong to be able to reach in. She's bodying Signatovic up every single time that she tries to attack, which made her have to turn, which opened it up for Demong. So Primo just having an incredible defensive game today.
And Palmer having an incredible offensive game. 4 of 8 from deep, tied in for a team high 14 points. They need to get some stops here.
Huskies need to be very aware of her. That 3 is dangerous.
Grasick. It's closing time here. National Player of the Year with the rock.
Nice play.
Key steal, Signatovic. Dribbled a little bit too much. Foul's going to get charged against Taya Demong, who prevented likely a fast break opportunity on the other side. That's a good take foul.
It's one of those things that when you reach in a lot, and she does cleanly often, whether you foul them or not, you're going to get calls against you as well, because you're going into their space and you have to be so perfect defensively to not foul when reaching in.
It's a tough swing over to Harris, over to Palmer. She's going to let it fly. Time, space, bucket. Annecy Palmer unconscious from deep. It's a 5-point game with 1:40. Demong. How cool is she?
Just showing her experience and her veteranness, right? Like, they're not shaken at all. They understand that when you get to these tournaments, this is what you face. You're not. Having a little bit of technical difficulty, but the Huskies also just showing their experience. You know, when you get into these big games, there's going to be runs. You have to be able to withstand them, stop the bleeding when necessary, and then have an answer back. And I think, you know, those big shots being answered with quick buckets by Demong and by Grasic and getting really good, fantastic shots at the rim just shows that they know what they need, they know what they're looking for, and they understand how to answer back with big buckets.
Taya Demong coming in, averaging around 11 points a game. 5 of 8 tonight from the free throw line. 19 points, 7 of 13 from the field. Gage Grasic as well. Big time decision making down the stretch. 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Playing under control with 4 fouls as well. Timeout called here by head coach Scott Edwards for the Pandas.
I really commend this Pandas team. They just refuse to go away. You know, and it's an exhausting thing to have to do, to have to continue to come back, and the Huskies pull away, and then they come back again. And Pandas just absolutely no quit, and I love that. That's what this tournament is about.
Finally, you get the best of the best. Each team gonna give it their all. You got the champions or the top contenders from each of the 4 conferences. And some teams just have a tendency to meet each other. We were talking about University of the Fraser Valley, where I also call some games, and they always seem to end up running into the wall that is Saskatchewan. But if you want to win a championship, you have to beat the Titans of Canada. And for the past legacy years, it has been the Huskies. Unfortunately for Alberta, running into a legacy team in Saskatchewan.
And just to touch on that little highlight pack that just showed, like, Palmer, just like, we talked about her three-point percentage before the game, but, like, oh my goodness, just an absolute weapon from beyond, and just keeping these Pandas in, especially late now, coming alive. Exciting to see. She's such a good scorer. She's so smooth. Fun to watch.
Now Palmer truly coming alive here in this 4th quarter. Team high 17 points, making this a thriller.
Oh, and Palmer again had a good opportunity and then hit that one after the call. Need to be set.
Foul's going on the screen against Signatovic. Trying to free Palmer up. Everyone in the building knows she's the hot hand. Less than a minute left to go here. 9-point lead. Grasic looking to use some clock. Here's the double team. Primo back to Grasic. 5 seconds left. Demong. Quickly to Primo, stepping out of bounds. That was great defense from the Pandas, but gonna be fighting the clock as much as they're fighting the scoreboard right
100%.
now.
Yeah, if you're the Huskies, you want to go down and use that shot clock right to the very end. So not getting that off, not as devastating.
That ball wedged against the back of Morgan Harris. A little bit of an awkward one as we watch the replay here. Right on her back. If you look at the flexibility, glad to see Harris is okay. Tipped for a moment. Here's Grasic. Likely going to use up the rest of the clock. Foul committed, though, by the Pandas. Going to send Grasic to the free throw line, playing until the final buzzer sounds. Grasick misses the first. That's going to be all she wrote tonight. And Saskatchewan going to punch their ticket to Saturday's semifinal to take on the host team, UBC Thunderbirds. And you have the host team facing the #1 team in the country. This place is going to be rocking.
Yeah, a rematch of the Canada West too, so they're super familiar with each other. UBC had some really good success against them in the first half of that Canada West final too. It's going to be a crazy game in here. I'm really excited for that one.
Can't wait. You got to tune in or you got to buy a ticket. Follow along all weekend. Saskatchewan Huskies taking this one 67-58. Alberta Pandas made it interesting, fighting until the very end. Annecy Palmer with a team-high 17 points and a game-high 19 points for Thea Demong. As we look at your final stats brought to you by Wilson. Shaking off the rust, if you will, Kira. Both teams shooting under 35%. Huskies at 33.8, 26.2% from the field for the Pandas. It was a little bit of a defensive match tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the story of the day one, you know, getting those jitters out, and not only that, like you're getting the nerves out, you're getting the jitters out, but it's a new facility. You know, you haven't shot here a ton, so you're getting used to the rims, and the depth perception is a little bit different when you have, when you don't have a wall right behind the hoop as well, and sometimes that can distract you and be a little bit tougher to get used to. So everyone's kind of adjusting to the gym and the atmosphere, and then, yeah, like I said, getting those first game nerves out. And I mean, Annecy Palmer really skyrocketing their three-point percentage there at the end with her sharp shooting, but yeah, overall not fantastic field goal percentages, but I definitely expect that to improve as the tournament goes on.
Much more still to play for. We're going to have some consolation games coming up. We're awaiting the players of the game announcement for the Alberta Pandas. Kia Easton Ahediahama going to be gifted the Player of the Game award with the Pandas. Played a full 4 quarters. Active when the Pandas needed a spark. And Courtney Primo, a huge double-double game, Player of the Game for the Huskies. 11 points, 17 boards for Primo, Kira.
Well, and like that aside, like, did you say 17 boards?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But like that aside, her defensive game was so good. Like if she didn't have that double-double to go along with it, she might have been Player of the Game just because of what she did on the defensive side. But yeah, so effective. Incredible game for her. A few of them had really good games. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Great hands from Courtney Primo, always in the right place at the right time, because Thea Demong, she's got eyes on the back of her head. You got to be ready for those dishes. Primo was. It's going to be a 67-58 win for the Huskies, advancing to the semifinal, into the consolation rounds for the Alberta Pandas. For Kira Lyons, I'm Andrew Savory. Thanks so much to the rest of the crew in the booth here tonight. This has been a presentation of the 2025 Indochino U Sports Basketball Final 8, presented by Victory Creative Group. We'll see you tomorrow.